us there. So thanks for being here. I'm just going to do a bunch of original songs. I really don't do, I tell people I'm not really good enough to do other people's songs, so I write my own. So,
I find that hard to believe.
And I am an English teacher, that if you're wondering, that was my degree, so I love writing, and I try to, use those skills in the writing craft. So I'm just going to do some songs and share a little bit of our story and talk a little bit about Jesus. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We're in church, right? So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I actually grew up a Lutheran, so I'm in there. My grandpa was a Lutheran pastor, Pastor Alfred Seltz. Finished his career in Fergus Falls, Missouri Synod. So hopefully that's okay. So a lot of good memories and great experiences, wonderful foundation in the Lord there. And I'll share a little bit more about my story. So I mentioned I grew up in the Lutheran church and have a lot of fond memories of the flannel graphs and summer vacation Bible school and fishing with my grandpa. And some of those experiences were really the first times looking back that I can remember experiencing the presence of God, the living Christ. And like many folks back in the 70s, my family went through divorce. My folks were divorced, and that really rocked my world. And I became an angry young man and dove hard into the drug lifestyle. And after high school, I took off on my motorcycle, lived in the mountains for a year, and then me and a buddy lived out on the California coast. And I just got more angry and more just dove deeper into that whole lifestyle. But yet something was holding me, and that was the seed of God's word that I learned in church growing up. And so something was drawing me back home. And my dad, actually, this is a miracle of miracles, who I hadn't talked to in 5 years. He was battling with his own, aftermath of the divorce. And he started reaching out to me and flew me home. And I'll never forget stepping off, once I reached Fargo, just a little charter plane up to Grand Forks, and smelling that humid prairie air. It was the end of June, I think it was, right after a cutting of alfalfa. And I knew I was home. And looked up all my old buddies, and I was still running hard, still running hard. And I had some close experiences along the way. I actually lost some friends, that didn't make it because of that lifestyle. And my sister, who had come back to Christ, brought me to this little gospel meeting, and that's where I decided that, this person named Jesus was alive and well. And that was in 1982, and I've been doing my best to follow him ever since. And shortly after that, I met my wife. We've been involved in various types of ministry. We pastored little churches and done youth groups and children's pastor, music leader. And in the early 2000s, we stepped into more of a traveling ministry. And so going around and singing and speaking. And God has graced us to do a lot of work with the beautiful First Nations people in Ontario, South Dakota here at home, and to have a real love for our Native friends. So wherever the door opens, we go. And I'm just so thankful. I keep going back, Sometimes church isn't perfect, if you're looking for the perfect church. It might be perfect until you show up. Thank you for laughing. Usually my wife is the only one that laughs at my jokes. So I do appreciate that.
She told us we better laugh.
Oh, she told you. She told you, yeah. So, excuse me? Where was I? So, what was I talking about before?
No church is perfect.
Oh, yeah, right.
Dave, we're listening.
You're a good student.
I'm sitting in front. I better be right.
You're a good student. So my point was, even when you're in church, sometimes things can get hard, and you're serving God and things can get hard. But I always go back to how thankful I am that I know Jesus, and he knows me. Of course, he always knew me, but I took a little break for a while. And so I'm so glad that I'm back in the fold. And so through all that, he carries us through the the good times and the bad times, and this next song is called, oh, okay, I'm ahead of myself. What? Here we go, yeah. You know, I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do that one. He carries us. He carries me. He carries me. He carries me. He carries me. The valley of tears, the cross is my friend. Keeps me from dying, brings hope to my sin. He carries me. He carries me. He carries me. He carries me. When down in that valley I find the river of God. All that I am is washed in His love. He carries me. He carries me. He carries me. I rise up again. I look to the hill. All that remains is coming.